I always thought there was a certain trajectory carved out for me, but then there are just these little sort of puzzle pieces going into place and maybe kind of changing it a bit. But I don't think my goal has changed. And so I'm a lot more open to what that path to success or what my path to my ultimate goal looks like. And that's what I mean about flexibility, you know, trying things that maybe you didn't anticipate even liking or coming across, trying a new city, moving to a new city, taking a new class, you know, not necessarily just professionally, you know, geared, but doing things in experimenting with your life in a way that maybe you didn't expect.
Today we have such a special guest. It's my girl Bri, but you may know her as Brianne Garrett. Brianne Garrett is a journalist focused on food, entrepreneurship, lifestyle, with a focus on amplifying Black and Brown voices, which we love. She is currently the managing editor for Ayesha Curry's Sweet July brand, and she was previously an editor at Forbes, where she led content and created pathways to support creatives of color. Bri is truly one of the most impressive people that I know. I feel so blessed to know her, and I really hope that you enjoy my conversation with her. Before we get into the episode though, if you're listening to this episode and you really enjoy it, please consider liking, sharing, giving us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. All these things really help the podcast grow, and I would greatly appreciate it. All right, without any further ado, here is my conversation with Bri. All right, the pressure is on. The quickest interview. I have to make this the quickest podcast because you are such a busy woman, Brianne. Thank you so much. It's weird to say Brianne because I always call you Bri, but
didn't say Bri.
Okay. Bri, welcome to The Fostered. How are you doing today?
I'm so well and so honored and excited to be here. I've been wanting to be on your podcast for the longest. I don't know if you knew. I've been like waiting in the woodworks, like, is she gonna ask me? And then the time has finally come, so I'm really excited.
I feel like it's perfect too because you're in the Bay, stopping through, and I just appreciate you making some time on your busy calendar.
Of course.
Oh, okay. So I like to start each podcast off by asking, what is your story?
You know, I feel like maybe I should reflect on this more. What is my story? I think I am a layered person. I think I pride myself on being a storyteller. People always ask me what this tattoo means, the quotation marks, and I really do think it is reflective of my life's work, maybe purpose. I think I have been lucky enough to be able to do what's super fulfilling, which is tell other people's stories. But in that, of course, you asked me what my story was, and I said telling other people's stories. And so I think that is a big part of my identity. And I think I'm actively trying to figure out other pieces that make up who Bri is. And that's kind of what my, I think, next chapter is.
I love that so much. Because, wait, how old are you again?
Just turned 27.
Okay, yeah. I feel like I'm 27 too. And
yeah.
I think this is really the chapter of finding out who you are. I just started reading this book, Everyday Dharma, and it's basically talking about like how you come back to the things that really fulfill you, your purpose.
Yes.
And I think so much of like your early 20s is really spent on taking on everyone else's messaging.
Yes.
And I think the later 20s and like your 30s are about shedding those parts away and really coming to yourself. So.
I think that's exactly right. Someone told me, or a few people have told me that 27 specifically, where 27 is an age of like revolution, like a transformative just year in your 20s. I don't know if there's something scientific or I don't know, but I've heard it a lot, 27 specifically, so I'm excited.
Yeah. No, I think, I don't know. Well, it's also like the Saturn return as well.
Oh, yeah.
So something
I think
about
that probably plays a major role.
And our frontal lobes are fully developed,
yes.
So now we're just
ready.
Actually
we're full-on adults.
Ready to live life. I love what you said, though, about telling other people's stories and how you feel blessed to be able to do that work. How did you even come to do this type of work? Tell us all the things.
Yeah, I mean, it started pretty early on. I don't even know what's a thing anymore, but Take Your Daughter to Work Day. I went to work with my mom, who was and still is an assistant principal at our high school in the suburbs of Long Island in Bayshore. And I went with her, and I remember there was a student shadowing her because she was doing a story on, I think, like a day in the life of an assistant principal. And I remember the girl was super nice, and she's like, Brianne, do you want to come with me to the class, the journalism class? And I'm like, sure, this is really cool. So I remember walking into the classroom, and I always call it like beautiful chaos of what was a high school newsroom, like just students walking around. It wasn't your traditional like sit in your seats. Everyone was kind of rushing to fulfill their stories on deadline. And I just remember thinking like, this is exactly what I want to be a part of. And I think I was like 12.
Oh, wow.
So fast forward to high school, and the first class I knew I wanted to have on my schedule was journalism. And so from there, it kind of was a no-brainer that I would just kind of evolve in that. Went to college, studied journalism, and am now doing it professionally. So there are a lot of things that I think I've had to figure out, but one thing that I think I always knew was what I wanted to do with my life professionally.
I love that so much.
Thanks.
I'm not very familiar with like how hard it is to be a journalist. Is it a harder career? I mean, I know it's a creative field, and I feel like just being a creative person, it has been hard to sometimes find those opportunities. So what has that path been like for you?
Yeah, I think journalism, like media in general, has evolved drastically from when I was first starting out. I think there's so many paths and routes, so many sort of new roles being carved out. You know, you're adjacent, you're involved in social media, coordinating and content creation. That is a form of storytelling, and I think that there are just so many different routes to pursue. And I think that's kind of the beauty of it, but it's also overwhelming.
Yeah.
And it's also hard as like an early starting professional to understand, like, okay, am I qualified for this position? What does this position even entail? So I don't envy people who are getting into this industry now, because I think it is a very difficult territory to navigate. More reasons than one. We have layoffs going on. There's just so much shit happening. But that said, I would never discourage anyone who still wants to do it, because there's so much fulfillment. Is it difficult? Yes. I do think there's so many moving parts. It's such a dynamic role that I am in, where sometimes I sit down and I'm like, why did I choose this profession? Like when I'm about to write a story, I think a lot of journalists and writers can relate. I'm always questioning why I chose this life's work. I'm like, this is the most tedious, tiring thing. And then the story is fulfilled. You know, the person featured reads it, someone validates or really praises your work, and then you're like, okay, this is why. This is why I'm doing it, to tell someone's story in a way that makes them feel seen and heard. But that always comes after the process.
Yeah. So what do you think helps you stay disciplined in, because I feel like writing is such a, one of my far off dreams is to write a book one day. And I think it's exactly that. It's just, I think it's so tedious, like you're saying, and carving out that time. I mean, it literally is your job. So maybe that is what keeps you going. But I'm just so curious, how do you have that discipline to keep staying focused?
I think the beauty of this work is that there is a tangible result at the end of it. That there is going to be a story, right? Even if whether it's a 2,000 word feature, whether it's a 3-minute video, whether it is like a 400-page book, there is literally like the fruits of, not literally, but the fruits of your labor laid out in something that you can sort of refer to. And I don't think a lot of people can say that about their career, like the value in being able to reference all of your hard work over and over again is something that I think is super unique about this industry.
Definitely. That's something I've really been, even with this podcast, like seeing the episodes accumulate.
Yeah.
And it makes you feel really proud of yourself when you just see like this continued effort. Also this compounding, because you can see how your skills are improving.
Yes.
And you have like, even you asked me like how many episodes, and I was so proud to say like we've almost 40 episodes.
And I'm sure you weren't reflecting on that. Like sometimes we're not sitting down and praising and celebrating the success. It's always like go, go, go. Until someone else asks you like, okay, what's your progress been? Or validates the work that you've already done.
Definitely. So what advice, I know you said you don't envy the people who want to become a journalist or a writer, but do you have any advice for people who are like, I'm not going to give up, I still want to go?
Yeah, I would be flexible.
Yeah.
I would just be open to, I think there's value in figuring out what you don't like, so go through the roles, go through the motions. I think we're seeing this movement of, I think Gen Z is spearheading it, right? Like I'm going to try a role, and if the employer and the role isn't the right fit for me, I don't feel any sort of loyalty. Like I have to do what's best for me, which I think I never thought that way, and I think there's a lot of value in that.
Well, because we're cuspy. Like I feel like we're a Gen Z millennial.
Oh yeah, I consider myself a millennial, but I do think we have some Gen
I am Gen Z, so if I'm saying I'm Gen Z, you have to say it too.
Are you 96?
Yeah, I'm 96.
No, I'm millennial.
No, we're Gen Z. I read one article and it did say Gen Z started at 96.
Damn, okay. We're on the
But
cusp.
we're right. Or now there's this new thing called Millennial, so maybe we can identify with that.
Okay, I gotta look into this millennial. Okay, yeah.
So you're really pro millennial.
I just feel like I identify more with the millennial culture.
Okay.
But I admire a lot about Gen Z. Yeah.
What will you say? What are your biggest millennial take-ons?
I just feel like I just feel like I have that more of that go-getting millennial. I think Gen Z has it too. But maybe these qualities aren't really specific to millennial. I think when I think about the music that I listen to, or like even just throwback nature of like the early aughts, like those kind of things I feel like are more millennial. Yeah. You know, that Gen Z can't really relate to, and so I feel more mature referring to myself as a millennial.
I love that. I definitely identify as Gen Z.
Yeah. You're a millennial.
Montez is trolling me.
There's a ghost in here who has confirmed that we are millennials.
Oh my gosh, Montez, don't troll me. He just popped up on the screen that I'm a millennial.
Am I seeing something? Oh my god, that's too
so funny. Can you speak a little bit more to also testing out things that you don't like? Because I think that is something I wish people kind of told me more, because I feel like I would have tried so many more things in my early 20s.
Very much stand by as I navigate, late 20s into early 30s, and it's be stubborn about your goals, but flexible about your methods. And so I always thought, there was a certain trajectory carved out for me. But then there are just these little sort of puzzle pieces going into place and maybe kind of changing it a bit. But I don't think my goal has changed. And so I'm a lot more open to what that path to success or what my path to my ultimate goal looks like. And that's what I mean about flexibility, trying things that maybe you didn't anticipate even liking or coming across, trying a new city, moving to a new city, taking a new class, not necessarily just professionally, geared, but doing things in experimenting with your life in a way that maybe you didn't expect.
Definitely. And I think exposing yourself to so many different things really helps with that. Like even just being here in the Bay, I've been exposed to so many different types of careers I didn't even know existed.
And people.
Yeah, and people that I wish, that I'm so grateful for that I've experienced it now, but I wish I would have done more of that seeking out earlier.
Yeah. Well, we're still young. That's why I tell myself, I'm like, it's not too late.
We are still. I think sometimes it's just like, the 20s are like just ticking down. Do you feel any of that pressure? Yes and no. I think part of my sort of mentality is just excitement for understanding myself more. You spoke about what you learned in the Bay. I lived in the Bay for a year, just moved back to New York this past April. And what I learned just in getting out of my comfort zone was so invaluable. And I think that it taught me a lot more than what staying in New York in my comfort zone would have done. And just in the form of like, who I'd like to be around and surround myself with, how to make adult friends, how to balance a sort of budding role with a new city. It was definitely difficult at times, but I would not have traded it for anything. Yeah, and I feel like I've seen you travel so much in this past year. Has a lot of it been solo travel, or is it also work travel? I call 2020. I've been calling 2023 my year of travel. Yeah, like just do it. You got invited to a wedding in India as a +1. Go figure it out. Obviously, a lot of it has been work oriented. I went to Essence Fest for the first time. I went. Essence Fest is that time. Oh my god, for the first time. I love Essence Fest. Yeah. I'm excited to just keep going and comparing experiences. Let's go. Together. Yeah, we got a few things on our list. But yes, I think that I've just been seizing any opportunity to experience something new. I have my UK citizenship now. So now I got it. My mom was born in England, and I'm like, let me just look into this process and see. And so that is amazing. I love that for you. Thank you. That actually was a major, let's talk about vision boards, whatever, but that was something that I had, and I'm proud to say that I accomplished. So
So it's nice to kind of reflect on things that you say you're going to do and actually do.
Oh my God. That's the biggest confidence booster.
Yeah.
Like actually doing the things you say you're going to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who would think? But it is.
It's nice to reflect on it because sometimes we're so wrapped up in all of the things on the list that haven't gotten accomplished. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That is so cool.
Thank you.
So will you be going back to the UK anytime soon?
I really want to make an effort to go at least like once a year. I want to plant roots there and really get to know it as much of a local as I can be.
Yeah.
My mom hasn't really been back since like age like 10 or so. Like it's just been a while, and so I want to take her back. I want to explore with her. I want to get her acclimated and liking where she was born. So yeah, I'm gonna try to do at least once a year.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, I do want to transition a little bit.
Yeah.
So, like you, not in a similar, in a similar way, but not that similar. We both work for kind of big, influential people. Mm-hmm. You working for Ayesha Curry. Mm-hmm. I'm just so curious, like, what has that experience been like for you?
I think it was a no-brainer, joining the brand when I did. Just for context, I had interviewed her at my previous company, Forbes, and was really just intrigued and inspired by what she was doing with Sweet July, trying to build a Black-owned media brand really centered on storytelling for Black women. And so it kind of all came full circle maybe a year afterwards, mm-hmm. when she was building her team and they needed some editorial assistance. And so coming on was kind of like a full circle moment. And I think the opportunity to be able to lead a platform that is inherently centered on Black stories, it does not come around very often. Often we're fighting for this coverage, and to be able to do it scale has been really, really fantastic. So I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for her for doing it. And yeah, it's just been an experience.
Oh, I love that so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, when the first magazine came out, I remember like getting it and feeling just really seen in a way that I feel like I hadn't by most magazines.
Yeah. You got a Black woman on the cover. I mean, hey, that's a start.
Literally, I was like, wait, do me and Ayesha Curry look like? That's like how much I felt seen by this magazine. Just like, I don't know. And I love the photography. I love the stories, the recipes.
Yes.
Like everything about it is just so special. And I love going to the Sweet July store so much.
Oh my God. Yeah. It's right here. I would be there all the time. Yeah, I remember walking in. I mean, everyone loves the store because it's kind of just like everything about the brand in life form. There's a slew of like Sweet July helmed products, but then a bunch of Black woman-owned products scattered throughout the store. Yes. So it really does.
Most of them based here in the Bay.
A lot, exactly. Yeah. A great majority based in the Bay. Obviously, there's like a book section with amazing authors, and so it's kind of just like taking the storytelling that I'm building digitally and in print and bringing it into like a retail setting. It's all kind of just aligns to create the perfect puzzle or the perfect sort of pie, It's like to make a food reference.
Definitely.
To bake together.
So what is next for you? What are some things that you are looking forward to?
Well, I'm excited to travel.
Yes. More travel.
To be in Asia for the first time, to go to Bangalore and to be in Thailand and just to like, again, get to know myself a bit more. Mm-hmm. I'm excited for that. I'm excited to, I'm manifesting as I moved back to New York and I'm looking for a new place. And I'm manifesting manifest with me.
Yes, I'm manifesting with you.
A beautiful brownstone in the heart of Brooklyn.
I want that too.
Right? And I think I want to just...
we'll be next door to each
other. Let's be neighbors. Yes. We figure it out. But yes, I think I'm feeling super fulfilled professionally. I obviously am very much looking forward to having that continue, but I am mostly looking forward to building a holistic sort of life for myself in a way that maybe I was neglecting in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I do think the 20s are a little bit about like being career focused.
Exactly.
You're really trying to set yourself up and you have the energy to do it. It's like, I don't see that there's anything wrong with being career focused in your 20s.
Thank you.
But yeah, now it's like integrating a little bit more balance and support. What do you think that's going to look like for you?
I think it's going to look like constant reflection. I've been really trying to figure out like a way that works for me, like a way to reflect. People ask me all the time, do you journal? And truthfully, I don't. And it could be because I write for a living. And so like the thought of putting effort into journaling for personal reasons is just exhausting.
Yeah.
But I would love to figure out a way to just weave in some sort of like, you know, journaling adjacent thing that can help me. Maybe it's getting more into meditating, which I don't really do well either because I'm an overthinker and everything comes into my head. And, you know, I just want to figure out what works for me. So yeah, I think that looks like meeting new people and really leaning into friendships and relationships and yeah, just continuing to check in with myself about how I'm feeling and where I'm at in life because I'm learning like I am the decision maker. Like no one is deciding for me, you know?
Oh my gosh. I literally was just talking about this.
Yeah.
I think in my early 20s, I was really stuck in like a victim mentality.
Yes.
And coming, like, I think 25 was really this year was the awakening of like, it's really you that has to save you. Like nobody's
like, there's no teacher. Like, I don't know why we're in this mentality of someone's pulling the strings. I'm like, no, this is me. I get to decide. I can change my mind, you know? So.
Literally. I mean, like you said, manifest. Like, whatever you want.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that so much. Okay, Brie, I like to end each podcast by asking, what is something that you're fostering for yourself?
Ooh. I am fostering, I don't want to say the word balance because I don't know that a perfect balance exists, but I am fostering a life that comes as close to being balanced as possible.
I love that.
As peaceful and as tranquil and as fulfilling as it can be.
I love that so much. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. This was so fun.
Okay, do you want to plug or promote anything?
Obviously, Sweet July.
Yeah.
I obviously have to plug the amazing brand I work for, Sweet July. And I gotta plug. I mean, I just gotta give you your props for what you're building here. It really is something great, and I'm excited to be part of it and to see it grow.
Thank you so much. Yeah. And plugging a future newsletter soon to come.
Oh yeah, thanks. Stay tuned.
Putting it out there so that people can bug you about it.
Now you're holding me accountable. Now it's like you got to do it, which I will. But thank you.
Thank you so much. This was great.
Yes, it was. Thank you.
Okay. We did it. We did a quick one. That was our first quick with 2 minutes.
Oh, perfect.
Thank you so much for listening to my conversation with Brie. I mean, she just dropped so many gems. I know we went off on that little millennial Gen Z tangent, but I can't be the only one who doesn't fully feel like a millennial if you're a little bit cuspy like that. Let me know if I'm alone in that. Thank you again so much for listening. And again, if you like this episode, please consider sharing it with a friend, someone who you think might enjoy it. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.